Hello, welcome back for another review. My name is Laurie. If you're new here from Go Polished, I also am Go Polished on Instagram. You can follow me over there as well. But I love to do nail polish reviews. I'm a makeup artist for Saint, and I do a lot of other fun kind of home decor things on my Instagram page, so you can check that out there. So before we get into this collection review, and before I forget, I want to talk about what's on my nails today, because I know I always get asked and people have been asking for me to link it, and so I will link all these products I'm talking about in the description box below. But this is my Studios on Spring from OPI. That's what I have on my nails today. It's this gorgeous green. I love greens, and I love greens for fall, and this is definitely in the running for my favorite fall polish. So this year I am going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be picking a favorite polish for each season. At the end of the year, I'll just say what that is, and I think you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you get a good idea of what I really love, because I talk about it a lot when I like something. So that's what I'm going to be doing this year. Okay, and then on my lips I have this Rimmel Exaggerate liner. I'm not sure the color. It's Epic, I think. I'll just put a link to it down below. And then I have MAC A Perfect Day. I love this nude polish. I love this nude lipstick. So the collection, I don't think I've even told you yet. The collection is the Essie Gel Couture Opulent Opera Collection. These are sent for me from Beyond Polish, and they are available there. You can use my code, it's GOLARI10, for a 10% discount, and that is an affiliate link, and I appreciate you guys shopping off that. It allows me to be able to work with this company and bring you all these reviews for all these nail polish collections that come out. Hopefully these are helpful for you guys. So there's 6 creams, did I say that, in this collection? So I really am loving it. Some of these are going to be kind of close to other polishes that Essie has in their main line, and maybe even a few in their Gel Couture line. By the way, the Essie Gel Couture line is my favorite nail polish line. They are long lasting. You don't need a light for them. I love to use them with the combo, so you don't need a base coat because the base coat is infused in all the polishes. And then the top coat that comes with it is the same kind of twisty bottle as this, and I would definitely recommend using the system. So this and then the top coat that comes with it. The two combined are just really good. I can get like 8 to 10 days wear out of these. I do add another layer of top coat about halfway, about day 4 or 5, and that does extend it a little bit longer, so I really have good luck with these polishes. This brush with the Essie Gel Couture line is my favorite. It's such an amazing brush. It's the perfect thickness, it's the perfect roundness. Polish doesn't run down the stem because the stem of these bottles, it's like twisted like they're bottles, which is cool, and so that is supposed to prevent the polish from running down and flooding your nails. Let's get into them. This first one is Orchestrated Style, and it's a beautiful peachy nude polish. I love a good peachy nude. There are quite a few of them though. I couldn't find anything really exact. I think Essie does a good job of not making them exact, but they're very close. But I'll show you those in a second. But the formula was pretty good. It's kind of a curly-ish formula, so it's going to take 3 coats, possibly even 4. I have a nail that has kind of a high ridge, and so I had to do 4 on that one. I usually have to do like 1 extra coat on that nail compared to my other nails, so I would say 3 coats for this, but it's got a really good formula. It's hard for me to pass up any of these kind of nude shades. If you don't have a nude polish that's maybe kind of curly-ish from this line, this is a good one to get. If you do, you might not need this one. I have a lot of Essie nudes, so I probably could have passed this one up, but they sent it to me, so I have it, and I'm glad I do. It's a good shade. It's a good balance of peach and nude. It was a little bit closer than Talk to the Sand than I thought, but let's talk about those comparisons right now. So I compared it to Talk to the Sand, and that is much brighter. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see that in the photo here, but it is a little bit brighter and it has a little bit more white, and the formula is a little bit more opaque, so they are different even though they look kind of the same. So this is more maybe like the toned down muted version of Talk to the Sand, I might say. I feel like Orchestrated Style has a little bit more nude. It's a little more nude leaning than Talk to the Sand as well. And then I compared it to OPI Stop It, I'm Blushing, and that one's a little bit darker and the formula is a little bit more sheer, and I feel like that one was a little bit more nude. And then Romper Room is darker, a little bit lighter, and a touch more pink. Just so you guys know, those differences are kind of slight, except for Talk to the Sand. I feel like that one's much brighter and it's more of like a summer shade. I also pulled out Fair Terry Taylor, and that one's a little bit more sheer, but it's kind of along that same color tone, but it's hard to compare those because it's definitely more of a buildable sheer polish. And then Spool Me Over was a little bit darker, but that kind of had the same color tone as well. So nothing that I found was super exact. I know there's going to be something out there that's probably close to this, but all in all, this was a beautiful polish color with a beautiful formula. This next one is Bring Gown the House, and Essie's been coming out with some of these sage greens quite a bit lately, and I love a good sage green, especially during the fall. I think sage green is going to be a beautiful color to wear during the fall. And Piper thinks she's going to come climb on my chair. You just want to sit by me 24/7, huh? Piper! Piper! Creepy! She is definitely a dog that does not like to be alone. She can sit here with me. She found her way in. I'm definitely liking a sage green for fall. Honestly, a sage green for any time of the year. Spring, summer, fall, I think I would wear it the most, but I love a good soft sage green. The formula on this is really fantastic. It's going to build up nicely in 2 coats, and it just went on so nicely, you guys. I say that every time I talk about these Essie Gel Couture, that with the brush there's hardly any cleanup because it just goes on so smoothly and evenly. I wish they'd use that brush in the Essie line, the main one, because I know they're slightly different. So for those of you who couldn't get the Essie Believe in Yourself collection, the new Target exclusive collection, I have a review of that. I think it's like a few reviews back. I know a lot of you were sad because you don't have a Target in your area or in your country and you can't get your hands on it. I feel like this one's kind of close to Believe in Yourself, so maybe this one might be easier for you to get. There's a few polishes in here that I'm going to talk about that are kind of close to those ones in that line, and so these might be more accessible for you. This is a beautiful shade, so let's talk about those comparisons. So I compared it to Believe in Yourself, of course, and that one's a little darker. All these that you're going to see here are going to be slightly different, even though they're very close. You guys are all a little bit different. And then Bon Voyage was a little darker and a little bit more cooler, and then Can Do Attitude is lighter and a little bit more green. And then I also pulled out Essie Gel Couture Say Would You Love Me. I didn't have that on my nail, but I just wanted to mention that that one has a more sheer formula and it's a little bit lighter, so I didn't put that one on the nail because I felt like these other ones were closer and you'd probably prefer to see these. But really they're kind of close, but they are slightly different. So I'll let you decide which one you pick up. If you really love this Essie Gel Couture line, I think it's nice that they have kind of a more buildable, more opaque, and a darker sage green for this line. Then we have Tough Act to Follow, and it's this beautiful kind of red orange. It's showing up kind of bright on here. It has a little bit of a muted quality to it. It's bright yet a little bit muted, which is kind of cool. And it's got a really nice formula. It's going to build up in 1 to 2 coats. I would do 2, but it's very close to 1 coat. I applied this during my live that I did on Instagram last week, and it was kind of fun to use. It's a really beautiful color. I thought at first that it was drying down a little bit matte, but I don't think so. I just think it's kind of the muted quality of this that kind of gave me that feeling, but it definitely doesn't dry down semi-matte. I really love a good kind of brighter orange in the fall, and I think it's a beautiful shade. Is it original? You know, I will talk about those comparisons now. It's not as bright as some of the oranges that have been coming out in recent collections. It's a little bit more muted. So let's talk about those. I compared it to Style Stunner, and that one's close, but the formula is quite a bit different on that one. The Tough Act to Follow has more of like a solid formula, and Style Stunner is a little bit more rich and has a little bit more depth. And I thought it would be really close to Color Binge by Essie, which is one of my favorite polishes to wear in fall. I pull it out every single fall. Color Binge is more of a red with a little bit of orange, and then Tough Act to Follow is a little bit of an orange that leans a little bit red, if that makes sense. And then OPI, A Good Mandarin is hard to find, is more bright, the brightest, and slightly more red. I also did another set of comparisons for this, and I did compare it to Orly Bird Paradise, which came from the new fall collection from them, and that one's definitely more of a bright orange. And then I compared it to OPI A Red Vival City, and that one's definitely more bright and a different color tone, and Sunshine State of Mind, you can see here, is a little bit different too. So nothing was exactly the same. Sometimes it's hard with these orange polishes to get like an exact color tone because it just messes with your camera, but hopefully you can see the differences in those. I love an orange for fall. I think this one's beautiful for the fall time. Next we have Overdressed to Understudy, and it's this beautiful kind of muted rosy raspberry shade. A little bit unique and a little bit cool. It's a little bit muted as well, which I think makes it perfect for fall. The formula on this one is really fantastic. It's going to be opaque in 1 to 2 coats. I always like to do 2, but it's got a really nice formula. I obviously did comparisons for this one too because there are some shades that I thought were like super close to this, but really nothing was like exactly the same. It's so interesting that they keep coming out with these shades and I can't find anything exact to them. If you guys have suggestions for more, let me know in the comments below and I can add some when I post them on Instagram, because I always, like, a little while after I post this video, I wait to see if you guys ask me for more comparisons, and then I usually add them when I post them on Instagram. So check out there. And sometimes actually I'll add the comparisons in my stories and just show you kind of bottle comparisons. So make sure to follow my stories, especially after a review comes up, because I usually post them out when you guys have questions. So I compared it to Been There, London That, and that's from their newer collection last year, and that's slightly more raspberry. Overdressed to Understudy has a touch more red, but that one's definitely the closest. And then Sequins on the Rocks is a little bit more raspberry, but that one's a little bit close too. That's an Essie Gel Couture polish. And then Stop, Drop, and Shop is even more raspberry. So they kind of get more raspberry as you go. And a lot of the OPI shades that I wanted to compare it to had a lot of raspberry in them too. So this one's a little bit different. It's almost leans a little more strawberry than raspberry. And a lot of those fall shades that you have lean more raspberry. So this one's a little bit different. The next one I have is High End Note, and it's this beautiful slate gray with a touch of blue, and it's a little bit darker, and I just love this type of color for fall. It's just so me. I love it so much. It's muted and it's just beautiful and a little bit moody. It's going to be really hard for me to pick my favorites for the fall season. I really enjoy nail polish in the fall, so it's going to be hard for me. Essie does have a few polish colors that are kind of close to this. A lot of companies are coming out with colors kind of like this, and they just came out with one similar to this in the Essie Belief in Yourself collection, and this is the one that I was talking about. If you weren't able to get that one is more purple, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of the same idea. This would be a good one to get if you weren't able to get your hands on that one, because that one was a Target exclusive. So let's talk about the comparisons. I compared it to Petal Pushers, and that one's light and a little cooler. So High End Note is kind of like a darker Petal Pushers, I would say, like a darker version of that color. And then On Mute, you can actually see how much green On Mute has on it. It's kind of like a gray-green color when you see it compared to these other colors here. And then Less is Norse, I think, is a little bit darker and has a little bit more purple in it. I did not put on here OPI Heart DT LA, and that's from the new Downtown LA collection, because that was more purple, but it had the same muted quality. So I didn't put that one on the finger because I thought the other ones were closer. So there's nothing like exact as this. I'd pick this up if I were you, even if you have all those others, because it is a little bit different, and it's so good. And then we have this beauty here, which is Overture the Top, and this is a beautiful shade for fall. Man, I told you I'm gonna have a hard time picking my favorite fall polish. I already thought I had it picked, but then this collection came out, and I'm kind of changing my mind, maybe. We'll have to see. But this one is so beautiful. Let me explain it to you. It's kind of like a muted burgundy shade. It has some brown, it has some red, it has some purple, it has some mauve. It's just so cool, and it does look a little bit different in different lights. I think I will pull out if I have it next to me. Oh, well, I have it over there because I have it for comparisons, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about the formula. The formula is really fantastic. You're going to get this opaque in 2 coats. This does seem to dry down a little bit darker, and some polishes do that sometimes, so it's a little bit more richer on the nail, but not much. I did notice that a little bit. So as far as comparisons go, I for sure compared it to Rooting for You, and that one's lighter and more mauve. And then I compared it to JJ, and that one's more brown and a little bit lighter. I know some people wanted me to compare JJ from Olive and June to Rooting for You, and I didn't put that one on there. I did talk about it in my stories, but this photo will give you the opportunity to see those comparisons. So JJ is more brown and Rooting for You is more mauve. And then OPI Como Se Llama, that one's more red, and like a lot of the other OPIs that I kind of pulled out for comparisons for this one is more red. So a lot of kind of similar but not exactly the same for this collection, and I'm loving this one. So I'm deciding between these and I Heart DTLA, which is a little bit lighter. So I'm kind of deciding between these, I think, for my favorites. And I'd probably throw Rooting for You in there. I really need to decide which one of those I like better. A lot of good fall poshes in the running, and maybe I'll pick a sage green too. I'm really loving sage green. So anyway, obviously I really loved this one, and I think this is one that you need to pick up. So do it. Okay. So my favorites. Oh dear. These three are my favorite. And look how gorgeous those are together. You guys, I kind of just did a nail art design that had very similar colors to these because these were very similar to the Essie Believe in Yourself, and that's the collection I used for those colors. But anyway, I picked High End Note, which is this blue, Overture the top, which is this beautiful shade, and then Bring Down the House. Those are my faves. But honestly, I love the whole collection. If you are collecting Essie Gel Couture and that's your favorite line, this is a winner. I'm so glad Essie has come out with a few like all cream collections because we've had a lot of shimmer to kind of let you shimmer lovers enjoy that for a little while, but now it's time for us cream people. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Please let me know your thoughts on the collection down below. And I just love when you guys comment and like and share, and I just really appreciate it. So thank you so much. I couldn't do this without you guys. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in my next review. Bye.